It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Tokwe Magatige. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Grateful to God. I wished I could be on the show yesterday. I was like, ugh.
But did you watch it?
Yeah, we did. It was painful.
It was so interesting.
Very, very interesting. Yeah. So I was talking to my friend somebody yesterday. Person was like, shout out to, her name is Kike. She was like, oh, I watched your show. Greet everybody for me. I said, did you watch yesterday's show? Did you watch this show? We had Mrs. Ibukwa Woshika. Yeah. I said, I'm going to go and watch it. I said, please go to YouTube and watch
everybody said that we're also calm, listening, taking it in. I said that only happened this is the third time that's happening on this show, the history of this show. The first time was with the first lady, then Buhari's wife, Aisha. Okay, we all just calm. Secondly, when the first lady of the current first lady came, we all just calm. Then now she was like, oh, just because like, people are sending messages, we don't get into your view. Gigi, there was no Gigi fact. How do you Gigi?
It wasn't needed.
You guys even try. Listen, keep quiet and listen. I mean, I was.
We also did with Pastor Sam Adeyemi.
Oh yes, you take it all in. Yeah, you know. So I mean, compared to some people where you have a whole elder in your midst.
And you're attacking
I'm throwing a jab to some people. And you have a whole former senator in your presence.
And you're doing fighting.
And you're doing, oh my,
we're well trained.
I was really irritated. Even though I totally disagree with the senator, you know, but the truth is you don't disrespect an over 70-year-old woman, somebody of that caliber in your presence. You should keep your mouth shut.
This is something you're trained.
Sometimes some jabs is very because somebody needs to be brains need to be set. Yes. How do you start
you cannot set the precedence of what is wrong now becomes acceptable.
Because young people start watching that and thinking it's okay. You don't even if you don't agree with her, it's okay.
It's okay.
And disagree politely.
Politely in a decent way. That's what we do on Your View. But they won't come to Your View. They'll be going to those places where they'll be giving them unnecessary.
They'll be
insulting them. That's all good. Anyway, how are you doing there, Ramati?
I'm doing well. You know, this Ramadan Kareem, we're fasting, and you know, me usually I don't like eating early in the morning. But I just remember when we were little, the way we used to eat, we usually must eat that early morning, and usually it's always something solid. So we used to eat toy shinkafa then, and then we'll eat. Maybe usually we used to eat very small.
Because
it's like 2 wraps. Well, our stomach will now be full. We'll now lie down up. Our stomach will be facing up, so that you know the thing will not quickly digest. We think that the thing will last till 5 men. By 10, we're already very hungry. I'm just hoping that.
Well done. You just started. Just started,
and I'm already started losing weight.
How are you doing, Obgajilu?
Great.
In black and we had to wear black and white. I'm seeing black and white today. That's cool. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm all right. So I had a few weeks back when we started posting Mami Jiro on YouTube. Somebody reached out to me, young girl, that she's a screenwriter and she would like to write for me. But then I have my writers working already. About 3 of them have gotten their stories. They're already working. So I didn't have money to contract her, but I just funded her. I said, don't worry, when I'm ready. I didn't tell her I didn't have money to do that right now because other people were working. But I said, when I'm ready, I'll call you. So she kept keeping tabs. How you doing, ma? You're not ready for me yet. Only for yesterday, she sent me a message. I want to read it. It says, good afternoon, Auntie B. I thought to let you know that I'm willing to write you the first script I'll be writing for you for free, ma. I want to use it in my own little way to say thank you for your counsel over the years because of me. It's been years of following you and watching you on TV. I've never met this person. And getting to speak with you personally, and you turned out to be just as cool as you've always been in my head over the years, really sealed it for me. I thought hard about this, and I genuinely didn't even know what I could give you, ma. So I thought, why not render service on something I'm really good at?
We still have many.
So whenever you're ready for a new script, I'm ready, darling. It was just money that I was spending. And if she writes this script and it's good, she's my girl for life. We're going to work together. Thank you so much, Debbie.
That's what I like young people to do. Be assertive, come forward, and just throw your shots. And you never know.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing very well. Thank God. I can't wait till this weekend is over. I said everybody involved in this wedding, I'm blocking the groom, the bride. I'm blocking them.
You're taking a break.
I don't want to hear from anybody. From Sunday night, I'm blocking everybody. I am just so cringy. Like my mom. My mom should have been here. She's the one that handles stuff like this.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's all good. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
little.
All right, we're going to start with the nation. Okay, actually, all the papers have only one thing: First Bank.
Yep.
Because they have joined our neighbor. They're now in our neighborhood. So let me just take it. The nation. The story here in the front page is First Bank holds groundbreaking ceremony for their new state-of-the-art eco-friendly headquarters. We welcome you, First Bank, because you're just next door to us. So First Bank, the premier bank in West Africa and leading financial inclusion service provider, today marks a significant groundbreaking milestone with the ceremony of its new green-certified iconic head office building in the Atlantic City, just downstairs from us.
Yeah.
I know Mariam will be very interested in this building because it's very eco-friendly.
Yes, sir.
This ambitious 40-story building project, said to be the tallest building in Nigeria, will be an engineering and environmental delight due to its technologically advanced, eco-friendly and sophisticated construction, which will set a new standard for the financial sector in Africa. Wow. The reason why I'm taking that story, they didn't pay me to take that story, but because they are our neighbors, and we have to also acknowledge that TVC is Nico Atlantic.
We are here.
We are your landlord. Yes, so welcome. Senior member. So welcome to our neighborhood. Any other story in the nation?
Of course. So the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has called for the reservation of special seats for women in the parliament. She urged lawmakers in the National Assembly to expeditiously pass the bill into law. The bill, sponsored by the House of Reps, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, aims to amend the 1999 Constitution to reserve special seats for women in the state and national assemblies. The bill is currently part of the constitutional amendments before the House of the Reps for consideration and passage. So Mrs. Tinubu spoke at an Art of Governance exhibition organized by the Office of the Deputy Speaker on Monday night. That happened in Abuja. Represented by the wife of the Speaker, Hajia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, the First Lady emphasized leadership, the importance of women's leadership in shaping the country's future. She said, and I quote, "In the context of governance and inclusion, it offers a unique and compelling way to spotlight the urgent need for greater female representation in leadership and decision-making processes. The artworks being displayed today serve not only for Nigeria, where political leadership is truly inclusive and reflective of its people. The emphasis on affirmation action bill is essential to amplify the message of inclusion contained in this exhibition. Women constitute a vital part of our nation's progress." And, you know, talked about how we have not been able to represent them as much. So that 35% seats should be reserved for women. And this is our Women International, you know, week where we're also talking about representation, how women should take up leadership positions because they see from all angles, so that everything is being balanced. The world has gone beyond just having male dominance in the political space.
And as Mrs. Awoshika said yesterday, exempting women is looking at it economically. You're exempting 50% of your possibility of revenue.
True.
And it's important for us to include women in all aspects of life.
Okay, so I have the story of the federal government set to harvest $50.8 billion investment promises, says the trade minister. They said the federal government is working to realize the $50.8 billion investment commitment by foreign partners. The commitments were made during trips made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They said they did the numbers, and the president international trips, everything generated to $50.8 billion. They said some of them will come from deepening trade relations with 5 key countries, and another one is that the government will prioritize outsourcing of services. This will help youths earn in dollars without jetting out. Another one is that they have measures in place to revolutionize the manufacturing sector. And also, they said they're going to reduce the cost of transporting goods and services by air, land, and sea to boost production across the country. And partnership with private sector to enhance power supply. And also, they said they are going to work with the Nigerian Customs Services and Nigerian Immigration. And definitely, they said they are going to also highlighted collaboration with 50 federal agencies to improve businesses. Some of these agencies are Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Arts, Culture and Tourism and Creative Economy, and then the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy. And she promised that she's going to make sure that all this comes true. That's the promises that he has made and all the commitments he went and made. That everything they're going to make sure that everything comes to fruition.
Okay, so I'm taking the story inside the nation, detailing the French promising support for NDLEA. So the Director of Security Defense Cooperation at the French Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Lieutenant General Regis Colcombet, has given assurance that the NDLEA would be getting support, that they would be providing support in training, they will be providing support in capacity building and logistics for the NDLEA. The statement was released by the Femi Babafemi, the press, the Director of Media and Advocacy of NDLEA, explaining the fact that due to our bilateral relationship with France, we are getting that support from them. He also promised that the agency will get logistics aid and practicable training, and the DG of NDLEA expressed delight and appreciation for that. We all know that our men are capable and willing. We just need more support to be able to, and NDLEA has done well with the resources they have. So if they get more training and logistic support, it will increase their ability to fight the drug challenge that Nigeria is facing.
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. We like how Vanguard has a double.
Yeah, we
need to commend them for that. Yeah.
They have the one for the commercial, and then they have the one for the business of the day. You know, so we like that. Hopefully, other stations, other
newspapers would learn.
Copy. So Vanguard, Rivers crisis, leaders INC talk tough. Nigeria deepens trade investment with 5 countries, says Oduwale. Insecurity will subject Okote boxes to forensic analysis, says Soludo. Lagos Assembly, no plan to compel Obasa to resign, says Lagos APC. 16 burned to death as gas cylinder exposes in vehicle. Khan opposes call for Akpabio's resignation. National Assembly positioning Nigeria for $1 trillion economy by 2030, says Senate. Power generation hits 5,713 megawatts. And oil price declining to $73.5 per barrel, threatens budget of 2025 revenue target. Okay, let me take the issue that's happening in Anambra. So, following the clampdown of all the native doctors across Anambra, the governor, this is a serious matter, the Governor Soludo of Anambra has said that experts will subject all confiscated native doctors' boxes to forensic analysis, stressing that the owners should have themselves to blame if they see any traces of blood in them. The governor spoke during describing it in Oka, unfortunate decision whereby thousands of youths are languishing in jail because of these native doctors. So what happens is that these native doctors promise them charms to be able to carry hard drugs across the borders without being caught. And many of them are caught. Now, some of them who are successful come back for more and they get charms for Yahoo. Yahoo doesn't work. They're now going to the bushes to start doing kidnapping. So the governor has said that they've confiscated quite a bit of these boxes. Yeah. And he said that if they trace them and they see that there's human blood in them, they're going to be in hotter soup. So right now he's saying that the many Oketi are now in our custody, and the only thing that can save them is if there's no human blood. Since the government clamped on the native doctors, many of them have run away from the state, and those who are preparing for those they prepared the boxes for are worried that the boxes might become impotent if the native doctors are not coming back to ensure that to renew it for them. So they are very, very worried in prison.
Ew.
Their number one issue in prison right now is that native doctors
the renewal of the box.
The renewal of the box because they need it.
Interesting.
That's their concern.
People, the level of deception that is going on right now. Let me take the story of Lagos State. I like the fact that you took the story in such detailed terms. It can serve as awareness for other people, because when you think the thing worked, it might not necessarily have worked. Should I take the story of APC, the Lagos State government? So the Lagos State House of Assembly yesterday witnessed the resignation of Miranda, who was they said the shortest serving speaker in the State Assembly. Wow. And the former speaker was back on the position. And the newspaper is just carrying the fact that the GAC, led by the chairman, Patajuddin Olusi, the APC chairman, Pastor Cornelius, Lagos State Chairman Cornelius Ojelabi, and the Attorney General of the and Commissioner for Justice of Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro San, and other leaders of the party met with the opposition to anti-Obasa lawmakers to resolve the crisis. In that agreement, what came out was that Miranda would resign, the speaker would return, and in 48 hours, the speaker will step down, resign, and hand over to another person from Lagos West. Male or female, but from Lagos West. However, the information that came out was from the APC spokesperson in Lagos, Seyi Oladejo, in a chat with Vanguard, said that that wasn't in the agreement. The agreement did not carry that the speaker would resign, that it wasn't in the agreement, and that
has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Vanguard. Any of the story?
Okay, so I have a story of the bus driver. They say the driver of an 18-seater bus that caught fire and claimed the lives of 16 travelers on Tuesday due to the explosion of a gas cylinder. There was a gas cylinder in the car. They said the bus caught fire while in motion and didn't have fire extinguisher in it. And all the vehicles we stopped to get a fire extinguisher also didn't have. They said they also called the fire service and they said they were coming, but they never showed up. And they said the public education officer of the Ogun State Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, that's Ms. Florence Ope, she said that there were 21 of them, but that 16 of them, 60 persons were burnt beyond recognition and making it impossible to ascertain their genders at the scene. And then while 3 others sustained injuries and were rushed to the Federal Medical Center at Titiaba, but they said the driver has been arrested. Nothing happened to him.
So the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has rejected call for the resignation of the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, following allegations of sexual harassment against him by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. This is as Pan Niger Delta Forum, that's PANDEF, has accused the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, of politicizing the issue. So CAN, speaking through his chairman for the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory, Reverend Joseph Hayab, described the dispute as shameful and unfortunate and called for national leaders to mediate to protect the integrity of the National Assembly. He says there's a need for elders to step in. Akpabio and Natasha have people they respect and regard. Members of the National Assembly must take responsibility in handling this matter. So they stated this while they had a media engagement in Kaduna. They also strongly opposed demands for Akpabio's resignation, saying that it is premature and unjustified, as there's no concrete evidence that has been established against him. It says any group calling for Akpabio's resignation should desist, as no one has been proven guilty in this matter. Taking sides will only escalate tensions. Allegations of sexual harassment must be treated with seriousness, but also with fairness and sobriety. So, but on the other hand, Pandef condemns politicization of the allegations. They said Pandef had accused the Arewa Consultative Forum, that's the ACF, of exploiting allegations to advance political agenda aimed at discrediting southern leaders and restoring power to the northern Nigeria in 2027. So they made a statement yesterday by the National Publicity Secretary, Dr. Obiewuvi Ominimini. And they said that their claims of bias against northern senators were that those claims are an attempt to incite regional tensions and undermine President Bola Tinubu's administration. They now quoted there was a time a northern senator was suspended under, a southern senator was suspended under a northern leadership, blah, 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 blah. Just finding ways to give it an ethnic coloration, which is not what we need right now. Laws are laws, rules are rules. If there's disagreement in the houses, Senate House or House of Assembly, there are rules that will guide how. Yes, this is Khan.
Talking like this?
No. Khan have said their own is between Pandef and ACF. Now Pandef is accusing Arewa that they are trying to use this northern coloration to cover whatever is going to happen. Please, we don't need that right now.
All right, so moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune. Unfortunately, we don't have any major headlines, so we picked a few stories in Tribune. So the story I picked in Tribune was the president named Olujimi as Accountant General of the Federation. So yesterday, our President Tinubu appointed Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi as the new Accountant General of the Federation, and he'll be taking over from the incumbent Oluwatoyin Imade, who will retire and starts March 7th. I like the CV of the new Accountant General. Olujimi graduated from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in 1990 with the Bachelor of Science in Accountancy. He also obtained Masters in the University of Lagos. So he's homegrown. I like those homegrown people. He's fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and taxation, and he's well experienced and versed in this area. So I'm really happy, and congratulations to him and his entire team as they take on the next chapter of governance. Okay. Tribune, any other story in the Nigerian Tribune before we go to leadership?
Leadership or Guardian?
Okay. You have Tribune? You don't have anything Tribune?
No. I have Guardian.
Oh, you have Guardian.
Yes.
Let me start with Guardian. Guardian, anxiety as federal government tightens noose on MDAs with new payment platform. I'm not sure any other story you guys took. But
I took one insight. So it's federal government may shut Abuja Airport Terminal over illegal activities.
What is the illegal activity?
So the federal government said they are considering shutting down the General Aviation Terminal, that's GAT, of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, following reports that the VIP section of the airport has become a hub for money laundering, drug and human trafficking, among other criminal activities. So the Guardian reports that the GAT is the wing dedicated to private jet owners and other aircraft charter services at the airport. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, received a report of a 7-member ministerial task force on illegal private charter operations and related matters, and they said the issue of illegal charter operations by private jets and aircraft owners who obtain licenses under the permit for non-commercial flights, that's the PNCF, but use the aircraft for illegal transactions have become endemic in the aviation sector. He said, when I resumed office, they said I should let it go, because principally it was difficult to regulate holders of the permit for non-commercial flights in this country, as those that are involved are untouchables. They have a hair in society. But he says, my background, both from civil society and before I became minister, was as a prosecutor with the EFCC for years. My duty is to touch the untouchable. That is my duty. I was trained to touch the untouchable. So he said they've identified the problem as a national security issue, and the inability of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, to regulate the operations of those PNCF holders have led to illegal charter services that, since the services could not be checked or tracked, they have facilitated a lot of money laundering through their drug and human trafficking and illegal entry cream of the society.
Yes, so
let me see how they can touch them. And if they will tell us the names of the people that they touch.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are following this United States-China tariff issue with Canada. China has initiated a legal proceeding at the World Trade Organization over an additional 10% U.S. tariff on Chinese goods. The Commerce Ministry announced yesterday this unilateral imposition of tariffs by the United States violates the WTO rules and undermines the foundation of the U.S.-China Economic Trade Cooperation. And this is getting really messy because, I mean, Trump is just on a roll. And here, the spokesman of the in China put out a tweet yesterday saying that the fentanyl issue was a flimsy excuse to raise U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports. If war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, be it a trade war, or any other type of war, we are ready to fight till the end. Now, that is a very scary statement to be tweeted on this matter. But for those of us that are following the story, I mean, even the Canada too responded firmly yesterday. I mean, I'm just so scared. This one that Trump is just having this increase. I don't know what's going on. Everybody
doesn't have advisors.
I don't understand, but I just hope that this, especially China. China not the look person. China is already threatening that if this war is what he wants, they are ready.
They are world power to themselves.
So you can't, they have the population.
Yes, it just shows the power of leadership.
The legal proceeding at the WTO and see how that goes. Any other story in Guardian, or should we go to leadership?
Let's go to leadership.
Leadership. Let's find a story. Ex-immigration CG Paradang found dead in Abuja hotel. Reps ask MultiChoice to reverse subscription hike. Nigeria secures $50.8 billion investment to strengthen global trade. And National Assembly positioning Nigeria for $1 trillion economy by 2030. Okay.
So I have the story from the House of Reps. So the House of Representatives, the statement was, it was moved by the member representing Oredo Federal Constituency of Edo State, Honorable Esosa, and he said that he moved it on Tuesday, asking that the hike be reversed. He said the House mandates his Committee on Commerce to investigate MultiChoice arbitrary increase in subscription price to ensure the implementation of a cost-effective policy. And in the statement, it was the fact that the recent announcement of hike in subscription would affect a lot of people because it is a dominant position. MultiChoice is in a dominant position, and that in pay TV and the increase in price would have widespread impact and put consumers under undue pressure. So they've asked that this is because many people are taking to social media to complain and express their frustration over the frequent price hike without corresponding improvement in services and the government's aloof stand. So, and based on the fact that they are accusing the government of not taking a conscious stand against the price hike, the House of Reps said they should stay on that price hike. And I remember that on Monday we took the story that even FCCPC has asked that there be a stay on that price as well until they look into it. But the news that is out is they've implemented that hike already. So we're waiting to see how the government would play out. But on the side of people don't want to hear any other price hike because every other thing seems to be going up.
Everything is going up.
Oh no, we're not shouting. I hear fuel is coming down.
That will not trend.
Food,
they like the bad news.
Some food items.
Yes,
some
food items are coming down.
Yes, now,
fruit is going up.
Fruit is going up because of our fasting.
Which fruit is going up?
Watermelon.
I got banana.
Watermelon is
gold. Pineapple is gold right now.
Watermelon is expensive.
But either way, we are still here. That is all we can take. The story we want to take. We run out of time. Now, special feature. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
my 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejek, can close the show here for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us now. He's the co-founder of the School and Director of Studies, Debo Adejana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Tell us more about, let's start with you. Tell us about yourself, who you are and what you do.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Debo Adejana. I consider myself a real estate entrepreneur. Why? Well, my initial training was engineering from University of Ilorin and then banking for 8 years. And I've been on the real estate journey for like 20 years now. And we play in the development, learning and development, education in the real estate space, and also investment aggregation. So, yeah, that's how I would describe myself.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it's so interesting that when I read your bio, I saw that you do the combination of business and real estate together, and you say you've been making waves for several years now. So can you share your core mission and also the reason why you co-found both the business and also the real estate?
Okay, for School of Estate, actually our vision was, when I got into the field, I was lucky to be mentored by professionals in the field. Renowned, late now, Akin Olaore was a mentor and a business partner for myself. From off the bank, I just started off with him. So I was fortunate to be tutored in what real estate is, because real estate is a special asset class. So what we then observed in the market is that a lot of people get into the real estate space that didn't go to school to study estate management. They got in there through their sheer interest and entrepreneurial zest and zeal. So, and there are a few mistakes that can be very fundamental that they are making in the market space due to probably knowledge gap, okay? So we came in with School of Estate to bridge that gap, the knowledge gap that we experience. A lot of entrepreneurs who are doing very well in their own right in the real estate space are having, you know, and that is why for us, it's very common to see a lot of people who have been playing in the real estate space, either in the services area, the investment or development, come for training and get better in terms of what they do. So we fill that gap for the entrepreneurs that have found themselves in the real estate space, playing in the services, the investment and development space. Yes.
Yeah, so we understand you have a training session for real estate business founders and the C-suite executives on Wednesday. That's March 12th. Can you tell us what about the initiative?
Yes, fantastic. So looking at the landscape, we see that a lot of businesses are failing, real estate particularly. So it's almost like you hear some names now, and in no time, maybe 5 years, 7 years, they've gone on that. So we conducted a case study research, as it were, and did some research on 3 failed Nigerian real estate businesses and 3 thriving ones, okay? And the outcome of that case study was an eye-opener for us. So we have put this training together to be able to discuss the outcome of this case study so that people can learn what it takes to succeed. We say it is what it takes to lead and to last in the real estate space. Because I believe that is not, I mean, most people started business so that it can outlive them. Not that they want to, they just want a flash in the pan. No. Everybody, most people that I know started business so that they can hand it over to the next generation and to other people and it can outlive them. So to be able to achieve that in the real estate space, we have this research that we did in December 2024 that has given us some very important nuggets that we want to share in a strategy session with C-suite executives of real estate companies and their CEOs particularly.
Okay, so I play in the real estate space and I've definitely heard about School of Estate. However, there are many tradings going on. Everybody claims to have information. So I'd like you to give us like a sneak peek. Just give us 1 or 2 points out of the things that people would learn when they come and study, when they come and sign up for this program.
Okay, fantastic. So one of the major things they need to realize is that, look, cash flow is different from profitability. And that we realized from that study that because of the illiquidity nature of real estate, and the attempt to, solve that illiquidity challenge, a lot of entrepreneurs have come up with very high-sounding and interesting products and packages that, at the immediate, looks very great. But from our research, it's like the undoing of a lot of real estate companies. So they have, whether by sheer omission or commission, brought into their operations what you can call toxic finance. Which requires a whole lot, once you get that in a particular proportion, into your business to survive it. You job today. But we have Dr. Nkem Iheanacho from LBS. Who, when I attended LBS 2010 OMP program, he lectured there. So he's been a veteran in the space of strategy and finance. And he'll be breaking down what they need to do and what they need to pay attention to, even in still solving these finance or illiquidity challenge in the real estate space. And of course also Dr.
Do you think you can? How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Eje, can you close the show?
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment to fail.
Who is the person that used to sus? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch on.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still celebrating International Women's Month, and we're so excited that we're having a guest a bit later. But first, Alile reiterated the prohibition of corporal punishment in public schools in the state. He stressed that flogging students for indiscipline and other misbehaviors remains strictly prohibited to prevent injuries, fainting, or even incidents. Saying the public, the state, have adopted counseling as a measure of correction. Now, of course, this comes with quite a bit of mixed reactions, especially because many still believe that if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Others believe that it's important for you to continually converse with these children. What are your own thoughts as we are open this month to the month of learning new things and understanding how to do things better? You can call us on the numbers on your screen: 021-635-2013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on YouTube and also on TVC handles. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. Yes, so what do you guys think?
Discuss this topic over and over and over. But sadly, even after discussing this for how many years now? Let's brag. We have been doing this show. We've discussed this enough times that we should think it shouldn't be an issue anymore. But it still is. We still have children being beaten to death in the past 1 year. We still have children that are beaten and they fainted. That happened. I think it was in Abeokuta that we took that story where it happened. So the idea of corporal punishment is not the only way to achieve change. That might not prove to lead to the death of a child and can serve as good ways to achieve that correction. We won't get tired of talking about it. Because when I first thought about it, like, not again, but then I remember that somebody might be watching for the first time and be exposed to tools that can be useful in achieving discipline. Sparing the rod and spoiling the child is in the Bible. Children can get spoiled if they are not disciplined and corrected. It is that we need to find ways to achieve discipline without just venting our emotion and lashing out on children, which is what we tend to do. When your child, when you're in school and a child disobeys. So I met someone in my kid's school yesterday wearing a brown jacket. I went to pick up my son and I saw him wearing a brown jacket. And at the back they said, I am learning how to be a role model. Now, that is the height of punishment in my kid's school. You don't wear a brown jacket. You must have been extremely naughty to wear a brown jacket. And a brown jacket announces to everybody in the school that this boy did something really bad and he's learning how to be a role model. For me, schools need to get creative in building that emotional. I am sure when I spoke to the boy, I asked him, what did you do? Did you know what you did was bad? I had a conversation with him. The teacher said that I'm the fourth person discussing with him, which means every parent comes in will ask him, what did you do?
With that brown jacket.
Yes, you should know better. This school, you are a role model. You don't do things like this. And that reaffirms beating. If they had beaten that boy, that moment he would feel the pain. He might even feel it for the next 1 week. But the level of conversation that boy has had, even his mates, everybody, why are you wearing brown jackets? Why are you wearing... We need to find ways to create a stronger emotional change without having to lash out and beat the child, because many beat corporal punishment is out of frustration and it doesn't bring lasting change.
Okay, I get that point. I mean, let me come to you.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, we grew up with
corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment and serious flogging, serious one. And this new policy is going to be a very difficult one for those of us who know that the way to bring up our child is by using just spare the rod and So I'm just wondering, yes. So transitioning to this new method is a bit it's going to be a bit difficult for us to adjust. And we should also know that raising a child is not only for the school to do. Also, parents need to be able to. And most of us parents, we don't know how to counsel our kids. We don't know how to talk to our kids. We don't have the right temperament, when we are talking to our kids. Me, for one, I will talk about myself. There are times that when I'm talking to my child, at some point, she starts annoying me or he starts annoying me, and then I won't know when I'll just use my hand. Listen to me now, and all. So I'm trying very hard to, have the right temperament to be able to talk to my child. So I think the school too should try and organize, maybe seminars for parents to come.
That used to beat him.
Yes, that used to beat him. to come and teach them how to talk to their children with the right temperament.
I understand where you're coming from, because I get to that point too where I'm like frustrated. These kids can get on your last nerves. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, and I think I've learned, been on this show for 11 years, we're going to be 12 years in May. You just learn, okay, take calm. You step aside, but sometimes you don't want to step aside, because that second, if you don't give that slap that second, they will miss the point. That slap is important, that moment. After that, you will not later on, because if you postpone the slap, you miss the point. Once they rearrange, now come and say sorry about the slap. And this is why,
exactly.
I disagree. So we always think we deal with it, that we get to the. As a matter of fact, it's laziness that makes you want to do it. Deal with it, that we get to the. As a matter of fact, it's laziness that makes you want to do it now, so you can move on to other things. I know growing up, they used to wake us up in the midnight, something we did 3 days ago. We just wake you up with cane in the midnight to come and answer to what you did 3 days ago. You thought they had forgotten. You will never repeat that again, because now nothing is distracting us from what you have done. We now have to pay attention. But I'm not talking about waking up a child to beat, so that's abuse on one hand. But I like where this is going. I like what Lagos State is doing, and I want to believe that other states will take a cue from this, because the truth of the matter is, I don't believe in corporal punishment. I was corporally punished till I was 16. I was beaten every day growing up. I was flogged into what I did, but then I just came and knelt down. So come and beat me. So beat me, let me go, because I know that was when it dawned on him that the beating was not making any. And I feel that if I wasn't beaten so much, maybe I would have been a bit softer in some things. I may be wrong, but I just feel that, right? And I know that people beat from a place of frustration. Parents, adults beat from a place of frustration. So sometimes the beating a child gets is not commensurate to what the child has done. You transfer, or your husband, if he don't vex you for nights, something has happened in your home, and then you come to class as a classroom teacher, and one child is just disturbing. Maybe you are saying something, the child is playing, and then you give punishment that is not commensurate to what the child has done. If you were from a healthy place at that moment, that would not have been the punishment you give. There was a teacher in my school, an English teacher, I will not mention her name, I don't know if she's still alive, in school, who was so frustrated with her life that when she catches you disturbing in class, she will squeeze your stomach. So people now started saying, because she was not married and she didn't have a child, she wanted all the girls, it was a girls' school, not to have children in future. She will have experienced it. She was also time this particular woman used very long this long stick, plucked it from one of the trees in the school, and flogged me. I was sick for 7 days. I could not come to school. Yes. Luckily for her, my father traveled. She would have collected. Yes. So that is not punishment. That is punitive. That is not, it doesn't allow the child be corrected. So why we're saying do not beat children, because you don't know what health challenges the child is coming with from home. You don't know the state of the child's physical. Everybody's looking very healthy, but not everybody's really healthy. You don't know what that child is dealing with. And then you use your frustration of whatever has annoyed you to beat a child, and you end up either killing the child or maiming the child. So one of the skills I learned as a classroom teacher, and thankfully I started that in my life, it helped me raise my own children, because maybe I would have been that, I beat them a little, but maybe I would have been that very vicious beating kind of mother. But the Montessori education I had, I made your classroom without raising your voice.
Wow.
If you cannot manage your, it was serious training. If you cannot manage your classroom without raising your voice, you have failed. So everybody had to start coming from where we were coming from. Everybody had to start realigning. How best do I manage my children? If a principal walks into your classroom and your class is noisy and you're not able to just whisper and everybody is sitting down, they will call you to the office. So we had to learn other ways of disciplining the children. And I'll give one advice here. You know me now, I'm into parenting and all of that.
Advice.
One of the advice is, for the first time, you have to state the rules. We are used to punishing people without telling them the rules ahead of time. So you don't know, even you yourself, you don't know the rules. Many adults, unfortunately, cannot even manage their own emotions. And you want to manage other children. So you start by making rules. If you wake up late, this is the punishment. If you do this, this is the punishment. If you do that, this is the punishment. They see the consequence. The punishment is not beating, no. You find other things.
And it's not corporal punishment.
It's not corporal punishment. So the children now pick.
Oh, I take their laptop. They are crying.
Wait now, a small example here. So a few weeks back, my son came back from school and said they gave them general punishment in class. And he was crying. I should call the principal that he did not do anything. He did not do anything. I said, I cannot call general punishment. Maybe you were in the midst of people that were doing something. I'm not calling. He disturbed and I called. And when I called, they said their group of boys were misbehaving, disturbing the classes and everything. So they had to punish. Guess the punishment that my son was crying for? What? They took his sports. He nearly died. Took what? His sports. He was not going to do sports for 2 weeks. He was not going to do rehearsals for 2 weeks. So all those things, all those pecs that they like to do that makes them feel their testosterone. He was not going for do. My son was crying at home. I should please call the principal. He's not among them. I say it's collateral damage. Okay. You have to do this punishment. Nobody had to beat him for him to realign himself.
For us, especially for those of us with our exposure, our understanding, we can put these, you can implement these things in our homes. But this is a public school, this is a commissioner who's saying, listen, public school students must not be beaten again. And we also have to consider the mindset of the teachers, the mindset of the caregivers, the mindset of even the parents, because some of them, the parents expect you to beat their children. Why would you not beat my child?
When you did something so naughty.
I think when I was in school, Corona, we had a cane master. So what that does is deflect. So if you're the one that, if you messed up, the teacher reports to the cane master. Because you're not using your anger to beat that child.
Your frustration.
Your frustration to beat the child. Once she reports, he then, based on the gravity of what you've done, can now decide, okay, is this fine?
Do they still have that cane master now?
Do we still
they won't have it
does
now.
Does the person need to be spanked or not spanked? Or they now determine what that person. So this is the person. So you don't use your frustration. I think that's how they stopped us then. I don't know what they're doing now.
But that helped us.
That's 30 years ago.
But that helped us.
For the school.
Let me say something. But that helped us a lot because. Okay, let me give you an example. Did you have a cane master
also?
Yes, we had a cane master. And there was another time, there was a time my brother did something that, he stole money. And if you see, that was when they hit him. And when they hit him, that was the first and last time he ever did that. So there are some kind of things you will do that requires you to be. For somebody to beat you.
They could have also spoken to him and he will not do it again. It's very possible.
As of that time.
That was what they knew.
Different. And again, for me, beating helps me in a way, in terms of prayers. Islamic school. They
beat you into prayer.
The way they flog me in Islamic school. When you go to school, if you lie, they will flog you. And they will ask you, did you lie or you did not lie? You will just, innocently, you will say, yes, I lied. And that's how they'll flog you. And sometimes if you come and you say you do not pray, because of that flogging, I pray 5 times daily. If I don't pray, I feel somehow because I just know that I'm going to be flogged anytime I go back to Islamic school because they will ask me and I cannot lie. And if you lie, there is something that they will say. They will tell you that if you lie, you are going to go to hell and all of that. And the way they painted hell that time looks like somewhere that was, you don't.
So going by Ramatu, that's where the conversation is. there's a school of thought that will say that thing helped.
It helped.
It helped to build a Rama 2. But there's another school of thought say that it might not be functional, it might not be, you cannot implement that in today's times.
So
they still have Islamic schools beating children today?
The goal of the beating is that Rama 2's default when somebody does something, if a child does something bad, is to beat that child.
Yeah.
That is because she was beaten as a means of correction.
Yeah.
If she was given other tools to achieve correction, she would achieve other ways.
Thank you.
A lot of our adult men find out when their wives annoy them, the only thing they can do is to punch because or beat or slap, or because that is the template they had. The way to correct is to beat. But if we had right from primary school empower more creative, so if you are as an adult, they don't scratch your car and you go and punch the person. Why? Because in your head you have annoyed me.
Oh, wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course, traffic. And that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, Father.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still International Women's Month, and we and many others are just excited, and we're basking in the euphoria of yesterday's blockbuster interview with Dr. Ibukun Awosika. Today, we have another woman of substance in the building. She's a thought leader, philanthropic management, international development, sustainability, and small and medium scale enterprise sector. Welcome with us, Osayi Alile. Welcome to
Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you.
You know, we admire your work. We've seen, I have followed you for years and see how you've really grown your business. And we're so excited to have you here because one of the things we wanted to achieve during this month is the global theme of accelerate action in different ways. And we need to accelerate action in business, in growth. I mean, Tokwa is a growth coach, he's a wealth coach, and it's important for women to take those spaces. So let us start, before we start extracting gems from you as we did yesterday, for those who don't know you, let us tell us a bit about yourself, because many of them know you for Wimbies, but they don't know that you are more than Wimbies. There's so much more to you than Wimbies. So tell us a bit about yourself, and then we can still take it from there.
Oh, good morning. I'm so excited to be here. And of course, for me, I've been in the sector, in the non-profit sector, and it's called the social enterprise sector for the past 23 years. And yes, I'm a woman advocate, but I'm also a proponent for pushing SMEs, and that's been my sector for the last 23 years. And it's been very exciting doing that. At the moment, I'm working in the philanthropy space, but also working with SMEs in that space, and building the bridges and making sure that businesses are growing and they're doing well, and still looking out for women as best as I can. So that's what I've done in the last few years.
So now, go ahead, talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, because whenever we think about social enterprise, people don't see it as a thing. We don't see it as a business. We don't see it as an. We've not been able to. We see NGO and think they are trying to make money for themselves, or people that are really selfless. Like there are two divides. You are either very selfless and you are broke running an NGO, or you are chopping money and you are. But we've not been able to see how social enterprise can work, where your business actually gives value to people. Can you help us? I read the book by Yunus, and it was very enlightening.
Yes.
Before then, I didn't really understand how it would work, but can you educate us?
I didn't understand how it was working to myself, because I was more in the banking sector, and I fell upon this just by volunteering while I was doing my master's, and I realized that it's a full career, it's a whole space. And really, when you measure anywhere in the world, it's just that it's not as measured here in the world. The social sector space is almost number 2 in terms of giving and doing. And but I tell people that it's a business, regardless of how you say it. It's just a passionate business of doing good, because anything you bring in and you invest in the community, you don't take it back to spend. You take it back to give back to the community. And I must tell you, there's a lot of work being done, and we're trying to push it out there, let people see the branding of what our community, even some community-based organizations. We have an organization at Adamawa, 80,000 women. When we started with them, there were 2,000 women. 80,000, I'm not even exaggerating. We've gone to farming, agriculture. But you know, it's the storytelling that is the problem. You know, so we don't tell our stories, we don't tell people what kind of investments we're making. And that's why I'm using the word, the economic word. The investments that are being made in these communities for people to see it. So it's a lot of people are doing it, and I'm very proud of those that have done it and that keep doing it as well.
So let me ask. I know you've mentioned some of the successes so far, but we still fall short in so many ways. What do you think is lacking from probably the organizations that are doing it? What more do you think they can do to see how we reach more women?
I think the first thing is really policies, and I think that's even across everything. If we talk about women issues today, is the problem of the policies that actually help us to bring these things out. I mean, everywhere else in the world, it's calculated, it's measured, we know. We can tell you how many percent that anybody that is doing agri, farming, whatever it is bringing into the economy. We don't have that here. So policies have to change. We have to have some guidelines, because there's a really low barrier into entering into the sector, and that barrier has to be upped a bit so that it's very clear.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody. My daddy dies, I just started an NGO. You know, and it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be very clear. You're supposed to measure. You're supposed to actually even do your CSC returns. You're supposed to be registered even with you know, everything is supposed to be done properly, but we haven't done it that way, and that's where the issues are. And then once we do that, so for me personally, I've worked in the sector, but I'm also trying to build the industry up as well. And it's important because the industry has to be built, because no matter what we're all doing here or what we are doing, you can't grow past an industry.
True.
And the industry has to become an industry that people see not in a negative light or in a positive light.
I like that. We can't go past that industry. We have an industry here. We gotta go past this. I love that. I'm already thinking.
Yeah, so I'm very happy that when you mentioned Adama, I was very, very happy because that's from the north. And then you said 80,000 people.
Yeah.
I want to ask you two questions, right? The first one is the 80,000. What has been the challenge so far with the 80,000? Because it's a large number. And then secondly, I want to ask, how do we move from conversations on empowering women in leadership to tangible action for women's empowerment?
I love tangible actions because a lot of times, you know, we start IWD week and everybody's like, oh, we're talking again, having conversations. Talk. But I will say conversations are good. If you don't talk about it, people don't know. And if you, in your mind, you sit down, you think everybody knows, but that's not necessarily true. So the more we speak, the more people know. But what we always ask after is that what next? What next? What do we leave here doing? And even just sitting down with you guys is what next. Because I've been watching for, I mean, you now said 12 years. And over again, every topic you brought to the table, people have become more aware. They've done something in their own corners. That's what always happens. So those are tangible actions I see. And even you mentoring other women, every lady that is watching says to themselves, I can do that as well. I can have my own
business like ours. I was so happy that all of them are replicating. That's the idea.
That's the beauty of it.
All the way.
If I was somewhere yesterday and the lady was mentioning your show, and I said, oh, I'm going to be there tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be sitting with ladies tomorrow. And we must realize that even if there's no table, we bring the table. We bring the chairs. Let them all come. Because there are so many strong, beautiful, women, advanced, enlightened women out there. We can bring them. So that's one thing. So we mentor, we coach, we bring.
Let me ask you now, we're not going to the cocoa of the matter, because can a woman be successful without shortcuts? When I say shortcuts, because people see and think, there must be something she has done. Maybe somebody that gave her something, one extra, one sponsor, something. You don't
know her family. You have family. You don't know her family.
I'm just saying, people that actually don't know your family.
Yes, they will say.
So they'll think, how did you get here? How did you know this? Who's the one that is bankrolling you?
Oh gosh, I'm so glad you had Mr. Oshika yesterday. And you know, those are the people that there's so many. It's very possible, 100% possible. When I started in this industry, I knew no one. I didn't even understand the industry. And even when I sat down with my parents, my father kept on saying, are you sure? You only go and give back when you have plenty of money, you have worked hard. I said, no, it's a career. People go to school. I've been to Harvard, Yale, LBS, all of the schools, just to build myself in this industry. So it's possible. It's been done by many women sitting on the table with me. And it can be done by every one of them out there. You don't have to know everyone. I mean, people say family, and I'm always telling people that you can come from a good family and not do anything. We have them, we see them all the time. But that drive, that passion to change, it must come from within. And it must be some things that you learn along the way, some mishaps that you've gone through. We all have challenges. We've all faced them. I've faced them. And in the facing of it, I've said to myself, you keep on spurring yourself to do more and to do better. And even this morning, there's challenge now. This is go around the room. So don't think that somebody is always bankrolling a woman. Some women are bankrolling themselves.
Exactly.
And women are also helping and giving the seats at the table and helping us to do better. I mean, Ms. Sawoshika was a mentor of mine when I started my career. This is almost 20-something years ago. And she's still a friend till today. So we have to handhold sometimes. We have to push sometimes. We have to break the door sometimes. We have to push some women to say you must do better. And that's what we keep on doing.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Life is full of doubts. But with InDrive, you can set a price for your ride. Choose a top-rated driver and fill your life with pleasures and relaxation during the ride. InDrive, choose a fair price for your ride. Because life is more than daily doubts.
What wakes you up in the morning? Is it the sunrise? Is it the alarm? No. It's your dream that wakes you every day. It's what drives you like a powerful engine. That's why you start strong every day with the rich, creamy taste of Nescafe 3-in-1, carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You're on your hustle, and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong, finish strong.
Enjoy the deliciously rich taste of Cremella Crema.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, even between meals.
It's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's get to it.
And so we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment with pure entertainment.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing with our guests, and Tokwe had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier that during the week, this International Women's Week, the day and week, we talk a lot about these things. But since when I was born, I've been hearing women empowerment. Actually, there's women empowerment program. Until now, we still have to do women empowerment program. Are we really empowering women with those women empowerment program? And what would be the most, from your experience with empowerment, where do we miss it with this empowerment? What do we really need to do to achieve true empowered women?
Gosh, it's tough. I mean, I had conversations with women yesterday, and you can find a lot of people are kind of frustrated. You say we are always saying we have moved forward, then it's as if we take 10 steps back and all that. But one of the things I must say is that if we look back in the last 20 years, you mentioned you've been hearing from since we were a child, there has been some changes. When we started life, we didn't have women that were CEOs of organizations and were strong CEOs of organizations. I mean, banking sector now, you can count at least 10 women. You know, in the sector, in your sector, you can count women that are sitting and they are a voice, not just sitting at the table, but they are a voice. So there have been some changes. But we have a long way to go. And we can't stop because we have a generation of younger girls coming and looking, and we have daughters that we are seeing, cousins, nieces. So we have to continue it. And I think the missing link for me is the fact that there's some policies that are not helping to push this forward. Okay. And we have to go back to that and say, okay, we are trying as best as we can to speak out, to be a voice, to give a table, to give a chair, whatever it is. But we must begin to see how do we change some policies. Because look, the banking sector, because the policy was changed.
Yes,
and they insisted on having women at the table. Yeah. And that's why we can see it. And it has taken them how many years, but we can see it. And I think if we go back to policies, we might be able to move faster than we are doing right now.
Yeah, that also brings me to what I wanted to ask, which is we now see a lot of women in the corporate world having positions, CEOs, MDs, which is good, and it's encouraging to a lot of us coming behind. Yeah. But when it comes to politics, we haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. And I know that that will make a major difference, because then, like you rightly said, the policies will now begin to change when you have representation. Yeah. But I want to ask you, do you think our environment is ready to have women play a pivotal role in politics? Do you think we're there yet? Or are we rushing it because women empowerment, women liberation, feminism and all of that?
We're not rushing anything.
Okay.
Our parents and grandparents have... My grandmother used to be a women activist, and I mean, so she's been doing it then. Mother has come, child has come, even my own has come too. So I don't think we're rushing it. I just think that we have to now be focused on it. Okay. You know, a lot of us are still not careful when it comes to the political arena. And we're not also as supportive as we should be to the women that even dare to go there. I just think we just need to do better and now be a bit more conscious on the fact that, okay, what do we as a people, even in your own small environment, even in your church or your mosque, there must be something that you can do to speak out and say, okay, why are we doing this way? What can we do better? Who are the men out there that can even support these women if they decide to go and run? And going back to it, we need the men. We can never ever do it on our own. We need the men at the table. We need them to sit with us. We need them to push us as well. And so we cannot. And I never say it's not a battle between one gender or the other.
Do you think Do you think there's a fear and insecurity? I don't want to say so that they don't come after me, but
they will come after you.
Do you think that the men are quite afraid of pushing women so far when it comes to leadership?
No.
Okay.
I just feel that we have to have that mindset that it's not a battle. It's not a battle of two genders. Because once you see it as a battle, we're fighting, you will always knock heads. We need to be able to come, the way we have had the conversations over the years about bringing out women, doing things better for women, it's the same thing we have to speak to. We have fathers in the house, we have husbands, we have, you know, when I talk to fathers, I'm always saying that, your daughter, how is she doing? He said, oh, she's doing great. No, she's doing a master's. I'm like, wow. I said, but what table is she going to sit on? Like he sits down and starts to think. It's true. My daughter wants to be the first person, and I say, how is she going to get there? You know, so we have to just find ways to gather more of them to say, okay, they have to, we are still in an environment where a lot of times men have to speak out for us, and we have them. We just need to just persuade them.
Yes, okay, so women supporting women, are women really supporting women? How do we get women to collaborate instead of compete, so that we can be able to drive meaningful?
5 of us here. I've been supporting you for 12 years. You don't know me, but I've been so when people say that, I'm like, some men don't support men, some women don't support women, some women, we always have some people that will not do these things. But if I tell my story, I've over the years had women that have supported me, many women that have opened the door, dragged me inside, pushed the table, changed the chairs just for me to get in. And I've also had men do the same thing for me. So I feel that it's something that people use just to say, oh, let us. If you support people, people will support you. So it's a two-way thing. But collaboration is still key, as you said. Partnerships are still important. We all have to do this together. And we just have to find ways, and it can be in your little corner, and even speaking to your son from this age, telling him that, you know, that position in the school, you know, a woman can get, and he understand, oh wow, you know, and he understanding his mindset begins to change from an early age.
Let me ask you about friendships. How do you pick your inner circle, your closest? Because yes, we know women support women and all that, but there's always, as you grow, things, some friends fall off.
And she has a community.
I do.
So how do you keep that community close? How do you pick those people?
You have to be a friend to them for them to be your friend. You know, a lot of times we're in a generation where people just think you take, and oh, they're not my people. I don't want new people. I'm just like you give and get. And I have a tribe. I've had a tribe for years.
Yes, and they are high flying. Sometimes I'm wondering, did you select? Did you people knew you were going to be flying?
How did you know? I think I just for us, it was just from the beginnings. Do we understand each other? Value based. When something is going wrong, is the person there for me? Am I there for them? And we just kind of grown over the years from secondary school to university. Now we're all at a certain age. Our children are friends.
Wow.
You know, so
that's sweet.
It's I must say I'm totally blessed, and I've had this tribe of women over the years. Doesn't mean I've not added a few more, and my few more have become friends to my tribe, and it's grown even bigger. But in selecting, every person needs a person. You cannot do this walk of life alone. It's impossible. No matter how much you say, I want to protect my heart. And they too are protecting their own too as well. And I mean, you need your cheerleaders. You need someone that will tell you you're doing wrong. And you have to be open and flexible to listen when people tell you the truth. But you have to trust them enough to give you the truth as well.
As an addendum to that question, when it comes to issue of pressure, so your friend is doing very well, she has some cash, you know, and you feel like you're not doing enough. And as a woman, you're thinking, okay, how do I don't want to seem as if I'm being jealous, but I also want to support her, but I also feel inadequate. So a lot of women feel they don't want to be friends with you because they don't feel inadequate. So how do you help carry your friends along in that kind of, as you're growing up?
Everybody's journey in life is different. She might be doing well today, and it's your turn tomorrow, my turn next tomorrow. And you must understand it from the very beginning. Everybody is different. I have friends that they've been doing motherhood for 20 years. They've not gone into careers, and now they're just starting a business in this our age, and we're all there applauding. And when they were raising their children, we're applauding too. I was giving my children to them too at that time. And when something has to do with business and they had no understanding, they were coming to me. You have to realize that everyone is different. And you know, that thing of jealousy, sometimes it might come to your mind and think, and then you remind yourself. And if you have good friends, you can talk to them about it. Look at I felt so pained. Then they'll say, don't worry, your time too is coming. And you know, and that's the only way you can sustain a relationship, even in business. Your business cannot be doing well all the time. There will be challenges. There's good times and there are bad times. Challenging times and failure times. And you must be able to gather yourself in between those seasons. Seasons must come and go.
Okay, so let me ask you, in this your tribe, because it's inevitable, conflicts must come up.
100%. We're always fighting.
So do you guys have rules on how you guys can resolve these conflicts when they come up?
Rules are important.
Because rules are important. I think our conflicts do not, the way it's done, our conflicts cannot pass a certain time. We understand that people must go through pain, and they must. And we also say, if you're feeling it, you must speak to somebody. So if you are going through a conflict, you speak to me, and because I know that you're not very happy with her, I can tell her, and I tell the person, you must listen to her pain, and it's just a season. Let her go through it and come out of it. But it's very, very clear. I tell my sister friends, we're friends for life. Except you throw my child from the roof or something drastic. But
there's nothing you can
do. There's nothing. What is it? Like, is it the cup you took? Or you took my car, you didn't bring it back? There's some things that
my husband, what's the big deal?
Well, let me don't let the women come at us. They're not encouraging that.
No, not at all.
But I think that the conflicts can be resolved, and as you grow in your journey of life, you realize that some things are not that important, and then these people are more important than the basic of, you didn't call me yesterday, we're not there for my birthday. What's the big deal? You didn't post me on my birthday, so what? People forget. In fact, I will even send the picture to you. I think this is the picture you should post to. I should post at 7 a.m. in the morning. Everybody will laugh at me. But it's a beauty. That's the beauty of it. Understanding each other.
So I want us to go back into the non-for-profit and the room that needs to be filled, especially in Nigeria, because we have MacArthur Foundation, we have MasterCard, we have Ford Foundation.
We own ACT Foundation.
We have ACT Foundation. I wanted to come from global, the older ones to local. And you've seen the ones that did not work. What are the things we can do to make this non-for-profit sector, which every business should have? Every business has CSR that they do, but they don't. We're not organizing it enough to sustain long term. How can we? What's the gap that we need to be conscious of when creating our foundations and CSR to sustain and make it as big as ACT, as Ford, as all the others?
Oh wow! I think a lot of us go into it out of passion, and passion does not feed people. It doesn't run a business. That passion of I'm very passionate about what I do. If everybody knows me, but I still in my mind it's a business. And I'm very, very careful about it. I don't play with it at all. The bottom line is important. And so that's what kills a lot of the NGOs, because maybe the first year daddy dies, you start an NGO, Alile Foundation. Everybody donates to you because they are so pain. My daddy loved them and everything. The second year you go to them, they might come again. By the fourth year, what are you making? How are you going to sustain the business? You're not thinking about it because you had ready money waiting. And then you're not structuring the business to survive. There's no HR policy, there's nothing happening. You're just running a business because of passion and a mission to do. Mission to do is good when you're doing it as a one-off thing. But if you want to run any business, NGO, social enterprise, foundation, that is business, you have to run it like understanding the rudiments. The foundation must be very strong. Because challenges will come. There'll be a year, 2 years that you will not get any money.
Can you get a bit more practical? Like, okay, these women that are empowered now, they open accounts with
they must
bank, and then they will run the bank. Like I want to understand what you.
Let me just tell you. First of all, you must understand that a business must have a strategy. That strategy must be even if it's basic strategy. What are we going to do this month? What are we doing next month? What are we doing next? Who are the trustee? Who are the 4 people that can answer to this business? We call them out. What are the what account? Let's not keep the money with somebody. Osayi's account. Let's go and register the business, put money in account. Very very clear. And then also, because if you're opening with other people, make sure that there are rules and regulations. If something happens, what do we do? A lot of these NGOs, maybe you have 2 partners, 3 partners, and something happens and they fight, and the community suffers for it. That's what always happens, because everybody goes in their own separate ways. So we have to be very clear. How do we have mediation when these things do occur? And there are so many organizations that are teaching even basic community. I mean, go to a faith foundation. There's so many, and I'm calling their names because I know them. I worked with them over the years. So they can teach you how to run it and how to run it well. So don't just start it because you just feel anyhow. Because if you start anyhow, you will end it anyhow.
But there's also we have a break here.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Oh wow. My typical day is filled with meetings, consultations, and of course traffic, and that's all part of the hustle and bustle of city life. But the real fun starts when I can just settle down and catch up with all my favorite programs on TVC. Believe me, it's pure entertainment.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show. Give Adala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Check it out.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym though, you're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's
what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
This is. That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You Jesus. What is his name?
That woman.
Damn!
Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment for Pure Entertainment.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going the final lap right now.
Yes, so thank you so much for sharing some very profound wisdom. I know you were talking about the non-for-profits, but that also relates to people who are running, profit businesses, it's very good. But I'm also from a different school of thought because I've seen people who waited to get everything sorted before they started, and they never did start. You ask 1 year, 2 years, have you started that stuff? No, we still have one thing to sort, we still have another thing to sort. So the school of thought where I believe in is just start, and then as you move, you can now begin to adjust and realign till you get to where you're going to, as long as you have started, right? So I wanted to ask if that's also a good way to start, as against waiting for everything to have been properly thought out before starting. Then secondly, there are women out there who are afraid to take that leap. They see people like us, they are excited, but then the excitement dies because they're asking themselves, do I have this skill, do I have this capacity, do I have this support, and they're not able to. I'd like a word of advice for them.
I think I like the thing you said, just start, because a lot of times, a lot of us just make it longer than it's supposed to be. And that's why I say sometimes advisors are great, because they give you deadlines and tell you that, look, by 6 months you must start. So
I'm sorry, I have to hold you for a second, because I'm told that our neighbors were linking up to our first bank.
Okay.
Opening right down the street from us here. First Bank's groundbreaking ceremony, and they started the ceremony. So we'll be linking up to them on the TVC News channel. If you are not able to watch us on news, Please watch us online on YouTube and watch us on GOTV and on StarTimes. We'll be happy to see you there. Okay, the VP is there, the Vice President is there, and she'll stop and say hello to us. All right, coming back to you. Yes, you were saying.
Yes.
Okay, I was saying that, I mean, I think you should just start, but you should have some things written out in black and white. This is what we need to do. Because no business has everything 100%. No person has anything 100%. You just have some templates you need to follow. And once you follow them, it's fine. So don't be waiting for it to be perfect. There's no perfect. There's no building that is perfect. There's no human being that is perfect. No business is perfect. Even businesses that have run for 50 years, there's no perfection there. So just start. Just do it. Go out and do it.
Please, I need to ask you this question.
And I'll answer the second one. Yes. I feel, I find a lot of men coming to me and telling me, I'm just so afraid, I'm so worried. I'm speaking to you like a sister, like a friend, like a cousin, however you want to see me. Remove fear. Fear will cripple you. And everybody outside will be telling you cannot do it, but you can. Because, you know, there's something inside of us that we all have. That thing of that, we have wombs, and wombs must give forth life. So just know to yourself that you can do it. Start small, start big, start like this. Just do something, do something. Don't waste your time and your years waiting and waiting and waiting in fear, and then you look back and say, I wish I did. There's no wish. Do it, make a mistake, you fail, you get up now. How many, if you want to talk about failure on this table, we will not finish today.
Running out of time. You're obviously a very beautiful woman, and you're in a season of accusation of sexual harassment. And we have discussed it on the show. We also no, I'm asking, how have you dealt with male advances? Have you experienced being sexually harassed, and how did you deal with it?
Gosh, I didn't even know anything about harassment till I went to university, and that's the first harassment I got. And I must say that one, I was supported by my classmates. They knew something was going to happen, so they all came in full force and opened the door. Yeah, and I didn't even know because I never heard of it. So that was and I was even surprised. You know, so these things do occur. But I always say to younger girls, I said, you have to know yourself and you have to be conscious of the environment as well. And it's so sad because we're still in a time in our lives where we're always kind of looking back. Even when I'm walking in the morning, I consciously always look back. And I'm always careful, like who is coming beside me and all those things. But if you're working in an office and you feel uncomfortable, find a tribe. Because they do help. They do help. That they will tell you, don't go there by yourself, because they know the stories. So when you get into that place, don't go by yourself. You know, make sure if you are going, make sure the door is open. They will tell you some things, and it's difficult, but we need to continuously speak out. We need to support those that are speaking out. We need to stand with them. It's not easy. This environment is not easy, but it's not only in this country. You know, it's every country. Yes, I mean, I went to school abroad and I got the same. But by that time, I knew. And I was like, you cannot do this. I will record. Rights. Yes, I will record anything you're doing. But a lot of women don't have that boldness in them as well. So we have to help to continue to talk about it. That's why you need to try.
Yes, can I ask one question? I wanted to go into the fun part of you because we're wrapping up very soon. What do you do? How did you travel? What do you do to have fun? What are those things?
How do you unwind?
You look like a party.
I like enjoying.
I suspected.
You like somebody.
I work very hard, but I also have my people that I just have enjoyment with. And I feel that you must be able to balance it. And I think I started when I was just working 100%. And I woke up one day and I said, no. Because by the time I get to this age, I will no enjoyment. So I'm now known how to balance it. And I have a very strong family. We do a lot of things together. Then I have my friends, my tribe, that we do a lot of things together. So we're always doing one thing or the other. I think everyone must find what gives them peace and joy and makes them laugh. And so that no matter what is going on, when you come into a place, you have that joy that you bring with you.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I know that you have been helping small and medium scale businesses and all, and I know that there are a lot of people out there, women who want to start their business. So at what point you fund from the beginning to the end, and at what point do you pull out when you fund the business? Do you stay all through until they are able to stay on their own?
At the moment we do, but it will get to a place where I think my grantees, if they're listening to, they can already tell I'm kind of pushing some of them out because I feel that they've outgrown me, and I like it. Where they are getting bigger grants, they have bigger players that they're working with. They can stand the test of time, because you don't want to keep a child in primary school when they've graduated and they should go to. That's the way I see it. So we'll handhold you to a certain extent, and then after that, I'm going to start saying it's time for you to move. Go, and they must go.
That's all we can take.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
So much information from you today, and I'm sure many of our viewers have learned from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I love this table.
That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you've learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.